Today I'm going to talk about how to make kefir. People do pronounce it different ways, kefir, kefir. I say kefir. Kefir is a really good probiotic drink made from fermented milk. You can use normal milk, you can use goat's milk, it doesn't really matter. If you have any kind of lactose intolerance, obviously goat's milk would be better for you. And kefir is a bit like yeast, except that this is a lot bigger. They're like kefir grains, which I'll show you in a moment. But they have the same action. They ferment in whatever you put them into. You can even ferment water with kefir grains. So if you don't like milk at all, you can actually make a drink using it as well. And it was traditionally made in the Caucasus Mountains, and they used goat skin holders, pouches. And that's how they kind of discovered it by accident, I think, in the first place, that because they had to carry milk around in a skin, I think this is how it all originated. So it's very much from that part of the world. It's known everywhere in sort of the, I don't know, anywhere other than Britain. And in America, they put it in their packed lunches. You know, children drink it every single day. It's commonplace. And here you can buy it in the supermarket now. It's started appearing on the shelves. It's more expensive, and one of the downsides is it's going to be pasteurised. It has to be, because it's going on general sale. Ours isn't pasteurised, we can't do that at home, but we've been drinking it for 2 years or so now. No harm's come to us. There's no reason why it needs to be, but obviously when it's going on sale to the public, it's a little bit different. You've got to be that more cautious. Anyway, I'll show you the grains. These are ones that have been kept in the fridge, and you keep them in a bit of milk just to keep them alive. You don't want the little things to die. You can see there it's already separated out into curds and whey. What I'm going to do is separate this out into just the grains to fit a larger batch of milk. So we're going to separate out the kefir grains from the milk that it's been kept in. Just pour them into a sieve. And you literally just put cold water on them, give them a little shake. And then you'll start to see the actual grains themselves. Slow down a bit. Some of them are quite big, they've clumped together. The actual kefir grains themselves, if I can find a small one, I don't know if I will there, but they obviously start quite small, but they tend to clump together into little colonies. And that's what they look like. There we go. And you just take those, put them into a clean jar. You need to have a jar that you can leave the lid off, preferably, because they do ferment. So again, you don't want it to clamp down tight, because you're just going to cause some trouble. And that's all the grains. Now, as you can see them in the bottom of the jar, that's probably enough to do a couple of pints of milk. Your colony will grow every now and again. If you haven't got grains to give to somebody, very sadly, I'm going to have to pour them away. I always feel a bit guilty, because they're like little friends that I pour down the sink, and I wish I hadn't, because I'm quite fond of them. They're such healing qualities. You don't want to really lose any of them. So hopefully you have a friend to give them to.
So what is this good for?
Well, it's good for everything. I mean, if you look up kefir, you'll find it's good for all manner of ailments or complaints that people have. One of the best things is obviously the effect in your gut. Probiotic drinks have long been known to help, but this is more than that. This contains more probiotics than you could ever have in any other kind of drink. What you get on the supermarket shelf has got hardly anything in it. This has just got tons and tons and tons of really good bacteria. Now, you know, in modern day age, we take antibiotics and all kinds of things. Heaven knows what chemicals they put into our food. So our stomachs have actually lost an awful lot of the natural bacteria that they should have. And bacteria is what breaks down your food. You actually need it. If you did your biology in school, you'll know that bacteria is essential for digestion. If you have any complaints like irritable bowel, or worse, inflammatory bowel disease,
like
colitis, diverticulitis,
Crohn's, any good for Crohn's?
Yeah. All of those basically digestion problems, where the gut becomes inflamed. This is going to be good for it. Without a doubt, it's going to be very, very good for you. But it's good for people with any other kind of inflammation in their bodies. Even asthmatics will get some benefit from kefir. Right, you simply just put this.
What sort of milk?
This is so easy. Now I use whole milk.
That's organic whole milk. Does it have to be organic?
Yes, I'd say use organic because, again, less chemicals in it. We feed our cows all kinds of things. We inoculate our cows against all kinds of diseases. The more organic you get, the better. Now, the very best one, unfortunately this isn't, is the Dutchy one. And this isn't advertising, but the Dutchy don't use the...
Dutchy?
Dutchy is made by Waitrose and it's from the Duke of Cornwall's estates in Cornwall.
Right.
They don't homogenise their milk. It's unhomogenised milk.
Right. Straight from the cow?
Straight from the cow, more or less, yes. I mean, there's still things you have to do to it, but more or less. You literally just pour the milk on.
Well, the whole lot?
The whole lot. Those grains will do whatever that is, that's too little.
And do you have to mix this up at all?
No.
That's it?
That's it. Now I tend to use it, I've got a little tiny square, that's like muslin, very fine cotton, that I put on top just to stop anything from going into it. That's all that's for, not for anything else.
No.
You could use any kind of fine cloth. Now obviously I'll keep it in place just with the lid of that, but it's still able to breathe. And you just literally leave it there until it's the right consistency.
And how long does that normally take?
And that normally takes a day and a half on average, but you'll have to check it every now and again, but I find a day and a half. So what I'll do when this has got to more the state where I think it's ready to put into bottles and store in the fridge, then we'll come back and we'll film the next bit of this. But that's stage one. Yeah. That's how easy it is to make. You literally put the kefir grains in.
So it's only the milk you've got to buy?
Yeah, all you got to buy.
And how much does that kit cost originally? And where do you get it from?
The original kit, I'll put a link up on the website. There's a really good site I got mine from. They provide me with a jar, with some starter bottles, the sieve, the funnel, even the nice wooden spatula. That all came from them, which is lovely.
So it's self-perpetuating this, isn't it?
And once you've got your kit, you go on and on making it. 2 batches a week is usually enough because you get 2 big bottles out of that. You only want a small glass a day. You don't need an awful lot. That's making kefir.
Right, here's some we made earlier, just before we get to that. I have a drink of this, so this is the end of the bottle here. And I normally give it a good shake, and you'll see it's a bit effervescent.
Let's bring that over into the light.
You have to be careful, it does tend to spurt everywhere, so...
Just watch the camera.
Yeah.
No,
it's not too bad.
It's not too bad because it's near the end.
And then she pour it out. A lot of people don't like this stuff, they say it tastes horrible, but... Tend to get a bit of a moustache. It's actually lovely. It's like a tangy, plain yoghurt. Would you say natural yoghurt?
Yeah, like a natural
really
yoghurt.
Nice.
But it has got that nice tanginess to it, hasn't it?
It's very refreshing, actually. I really, really like it.
Yeah.
And I'm very fussy about what I eat and drink. So, and a glass of this a day has really cured my guts over the period of about 14 months. It's been absolutely amazing.
You saved having an operation.
Yeah. Thank goodness, yeah. So,
yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. This has been brewing since yesterday morning. It's been a little bit cold. We've just had snow. So it hasn't brewed perhaps as quickly as it normally would do. But you can see it's starting to separate out into a kind of curds and whey. It's nicely bubbling in there, you can see. And usually I wait until there's a little bit more at the bottom. Maybe just like a small line of these little bits that are separate at the bottom. But actually that's absolutely fine. It's beginning to separate. You can actually tell by the smell. And it smells really nice. That's another very good sign that it's ready to actually brew and to serve up. So that's absolutely perfect. So now I'm going to separate out the kefir grains from the kefir milk now. Very easy to do. So here comes my kit. Ooh. Okay. Now one thing I did invest in, which saves having to decant it into a jug and everything else into smaller bottles, I've got this lovely, really big bottle here, and that takes the entire mix that's in there. I have got smaller bottles, but then obviously then you need to use the funnel and all the rest of it, so there's a lot more washing up. This way is a little bit quicker. I kind of cheat, so I can put that literally straight in here. This is completely clean. You can sterilise it if you feel worried about it in any way, shape or form, but I use very hot water, give it a really good scrubbing with my lovely big bottle brush. Gets that super clean, so that's absolutely fine to use. Just put the sieve over the top because obviously you're going to want to keep the little grains that you're going to get out of there, so I get my little pot ready for those grains. Okay, everything's ready. We'll use my wooden spatula, give it a nice old stir up. That just helps when we're putting it through the sieve. I'm just literally pouring this mix straight into the sieve. Don't go too fast because obviously it's quite thick. You've got to give it time to drain through. Give it a little bit of a helpful scrape. It smells absolutely wonderful. That's a really lovely smell, that. Can't describe it to you, but you just know that's absolutely perfect. Don't know how you describe that smell, but...
It's a yeasty sort of smell, isn't it?
No, not even yeasty. It just smells nice. It really does. Right, there's my little grains which I'm saving. Very, very precious. They're going into my little pot. I'll add some milk to that a little bit so that will keep until my next brew. Then pour it through. Not quite all in one go, just let that drain through. There'll probably be some more grains in here. It's a good sound. Something really, really pleasing about making kefir. Satisfying. Very satisfying. You just know there's just so much goodness in that. Yep, there's some more grains. I've got rather a lot. Does anybody want some kefir grains? Just give me a call. I don't want to throw them away. And the last drop. How about that? Absolutely perfect. Get that through. Ooh, I might just stop there because I've got to leave room at the top because it will expand a little bit. Okay, one beautiful bottle of kefir ready to drink.
About 4 days for me, that is about 4 drinks.
4 days worth, and that will just go into the fridge. I think it's probably nicer to drink it when it's cooler.
Yeah, I won't drink it straight away.
Yeah. Pop the lid on, and obviously tighten it down, because that is still quite lively, and it will stay lively, obviously as it gets further down. There's not so much gas that it produces, but the first few times when you pop that lid, just be careful, it will pop. But there you go, one very beautiful bottle of kefir, full of goodness. And yeah, what more can I say? It's going into the fridge. Lovely, and I'm going to grab some milk. Doesn't really matter which milk, but again I'm using always organic milk, unhomogenised.
So this doesn't have to be the
no.
whole milk like the other one.
No. I'm just going to take that last bit of milk out of there just to see if there's any more grains. And yes, there's a few, just little ones, and they're worth saving. I'm just going to show you the grains because, as I say, if you have too many, it brews too quickly. That's not always a good thing. You do want a slow brew. Now, here I've got quite a lot of kefir grains. In some ways, you only really need half that amount to brew the litre bottle of milk that I had. And when you have a starter kit, in fact you have even fewer than that, but obviously as the colony grows. So when you make your first brew, you've only got a small amount of grains, you'd actually maybe brew only a pint of milk and then build it up slowly. That would probably brew getting on for 4 pints. There's an awful lot there. So I might just have to reduce that down again unless somebody contacts me and says, can they have some?
How much milk do you put in then?
Oh, just enough to cover it and give it enough to
Live in.
Keep them alive. Yeah,
Where's that go in the fridge as well?
And that goes in the fridge. Well, again, I put it in the fridge because it slows everything down. I put this in the fridge because they don't mind being cool, but they don't want to be frozen. You wouldn't recommend freezing these, and I wouldn't really recommend freezing your kefir. I don't think it's very good for it, and you're actually going to kill off all the good bacteria in it anyway. So this just goes in the fridge just to slow down that fermentation and keep them alive until my next brew, which will probably be in 3 days' time. So there you go, job done.